Someone tell me what I should do with all these beautiful bags. These beautiful, beautiful shopping bags. I guess at the end of the day, they are just shopping bags, but they're really nice. They're really, really nice. Treated myself to some gifts. Contrary to what I'm showing you right now, I'm not the flashy type, so I won't take all these out the bag, but fruits of your labor made tangible is always nice to remind yourself of that you're doing something right. Reminding yourself of the fact that you're doing something right. There's a little bit of a mess right now as I pack up this Airbnb and make my way to the Dominican Republic in the next little bit, in the next few days. So forgive me for the mess, but you guys know I hop around and I travel. So that's what we're doing. Treated myself to some nice things. It's Louis Vuitton, but a lot of it's very casual. I bought a bunch of new colognes. Ombre Nomad. Imagination. Afternoon Swim. This is the only cologne I've ever been addicted to. This is like candy. And I got some more in there that I'm not going to disclose because I don't want people stealing my scent. Let's talk about it, guys. Let's talk about it. I never talk about this stuff. For the first time the first time ever, I put up a story on my Instagram with a ton of shopping bags. And a bunch of people liked it, but I ended up taking it down because it just felt like it was not me. Bought a new jacket. You guys can see that. This is a really nice jacket, by the way. Yeah, I posted this stuff on Instagram and then I ended up taking it down. Because I was like, okay, this is kind of braggadocious and maybe the wrong way. But then I was like, wow, I've been conditioned. I've been conditioned. Like, what is the issue? You know, I treated myself to something that I've worked for, and it might throw some people off, but that's just the nature of any action or anything you say. It's going to throw some people off, and that's how you know you're being you. You're being authentic. As long as you're not trying to do it with malintent, right? But to have stuff like this, you know, to see any sort of success, contrary to popular belief, you do need an ego. And this is one of the hardest things for people to understand when they start getting into the manifestation and the wellness and all that stuff is, they think the ego is bad. They're trying to get rid of the ego. The ego is not bad. You need an ego. Any successful person who has sustained success has an ego. An ego is like your identity, your the thing that makes you you, the thing that protects and preserves you, right? And it's also the place where insecurity stems from, but the ego is the ego. And any successful person, including yourself, needs to have their ego. The only thing is, the ego must be kept in check, right? And this is when people self-destruct, is when they let their ego run the show the entire time. It's unsustainable. A mentor taught me that. The key is to have a big ego, but a healthy ego, meaning that, you know, what's a healthy ego, Pablo? What does that look like? Keep your ego in check. Your ego should always have a seat at the table, at the decision-making table, but you never let it have final say. You never let your ego have final say over the decisions that you make. When you make decisions, you make conscious decisions rooted in love and self-respect, and rooted and decisions that stem from the highest version of yourself, for the things you truly want for your life. It is a mess. I'm just gonna have to throw these bags away. You know, that's it. You need an ego. You need a big ego. Too many people get into this journey, this phase of their life, this phase of personal development, and then they lose themselves. They lose their drive. They lose their hunger. They lose their spirit. They lose their competitive spirit, because a lot of that, gets fueled from the ego, and they think the ego is a bad thing. And then they can't do anything with their lives, and they fall off. No, you need to go after it. You need to get after it. The ego is what helps you carve out your space. The ego is what helps you carve out your space, and what helps you put a dent in the world, or a dent in the universe. It's what helps you make your mark. It's what helps you become a somebody. And if you want to see any sort of money or success, you want to go on shopping sprees, you need to become a somebody. If you want to become a somebody, 2024, you need an ego. That's not a bad thing. You should be in a position where you could always, speak your truth and talk your talk. And the good thing is, it will show you who really likes you for you, who really buys into you for you, who really buys into your personality. And a healthy ego is never putting anybody else down for the sake of bringing yourself up. That's a very insecure and fragile ego. A healthy ego is able to big yourself up without putting anybody else down. And unfortunately, for the uninitiated, that seems to be a very difficult thing to do. Yeah. It gets like that. It gets like that. Especially the men. Like, I know you've heard it. I know you heard it a bunch of times already, but the men in my generation, in this generation, that are like 18 to 30, they just don't have it anymore. And only God knows what happened to our society and conditioning, but I will say it was systematically designed that way to make people lose their sense of self. And they get caught up in this spiral of comparison, this useless trap, this illusion, led by social media and all this messaging and programming. People are afraid to compete. People are afraid to post. People are afraid to be themselves. People are afraid to lean in. A healthy ego, having a healthy relationship with your ego, means you know when to turn it on and you know when to turn it off. And there are times where you need to turn it on all the way up. And you know when those times are. When you're posting your content, when you're building your business, when you're delivering speeches, when you're in any sort of competition, you got to turn it all the way up. The people who don't have any sort of relationship or control of their ego, my throat's really dry today. They crash out, they spin out of control, and they crash because they let their ego do all the decision making, and then they end up with really broken lives, and they end up crashing and burning. Right? That's not what you want. But you will have to turn on your ego sometimes. So make sure you have a good relationship with it. Make sure you remember what you're capable of, because you're going to need it. So, yeah, that's what I'm on today. And it's a forgotten thing, right? How to lean into your ego. Because that has been painted as a bad thing. What society has pretty much told us over the last two decades is, shh, don't speak up, don't speak out, don't have an opinion, Or like, it's funny because everybody has an opinion, but like, there's also this underlying tone of, you know, don't become a somebody on your opinion. You know, it's all, people are just telling us how to think. Don't be too controversial, but be controversial. And after a certain point in time, you have to stop listening to people. Literally block everybody, unfollow everybody, or make a new account. I give you guys that advice all the time. Unfollow everybody if you're not going to do that. Block everybody if you're not going to do that. Make a new account. Because the feeds, we have a feed now. Everywhere we look, we have a feed of information. You can't escape it. Whether it's YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, you can't escape it. And what that feed is really doing is telling people how to think and rewarding them if they subscribe to someone else's programming. That's what the alerts and post notifications are, and the dopamine hits. It's science. And I need you guys to see it. It's a science. Right? I have to be very careful about how I talk about these things, because I could go down the rabbit hole and get really serious, but I'm working on doing that in a way that I won't get wiped off of YouTube, because that already happened to me once on TikTok. And that was not great. That was not great. Yeah, so I'd love to know your guys' thoughts on that, but there's nothing wrong with you thinking that you're the man, or thinking that you're it, like you're the guy, you're the person. There's nothing wrong with that. And not enough people are that. And it's funny because everybody's trying to get you to stay in your seat and stay humble. But it's coming from the people who are too afraid to be themselves. See how that works? People who are too afraid to be themselves will tell you how to act and tell you how to live your life. People who have not made any money, or who have never built a business, or who hate their lives, will tell you how to act. They will tell you to stay quiet. They will tell you not to have an opinion. So you should probably do the opposite. If you don't want their life, look at who's giving you the advice. And if you don't want their life, do the opposite. Very, very simple advice, but timeless advice. Very simple but timeless advice. Again, a key point, again, that I want to drive home is a healthy relationship with your ego is knowing how to be you in the fullest. Lean into you, lean into your strengths without putting anybody else down. Leaning into you without putting anybody else down. If you can do that and just focus on yourself, you know you have a healthy relationship with your ego. I tell myself I'm the best at what I do all the time. All day, every day. I say it in my head or I say it out loud. I whisper it. I'm the man. I'm the best at what I do. And that doesn't make me insecure. That doesn't make you insecure. It just means you are your biggest validator. Right? And most people are afraid to validate themselves. So when they see you doing it, it makes them feel bad. So they want to talk down on you. These guys are nobodies. Right? They're nobodies. Right? You'll never get hate from someone who's more successful than you or more at peace than you. You will always, or with more money than you. If they have more money than you and they're hating on you, then that means that they're just more insecure. Because that's how they're spending their time, is they're looking at you and figuring out how to down talk you. I have it happen to me. I've had it happen to me several times. You know, I have quite a few celebrities that follow me on Instagram, and it's all fine and gravy. The only hate comments I get are from people, and I'll just check their profile, and you can tell right away, okay, this person hates their life. And it makes all the sense in the world. You know? So, and this is stuff that like people in the wellness space are not going to tell you. They're going to tell you, oh, you know, detach from your ego. Da-da-da. No, don't do that. Don't do that. That's BS. Don't do that. Lean in. Don't forget how to be you. A lot of what I'm really doing in high performance coaching and hypnotherapy is reminding people that it's okay to be themselves again, that there's nothing actually wrong with you. That you can lean into the parts that make you different. Lean into the parts that make you weird and that make you different. And those are the things that are going to make you rich. Those are the things that are going to make you successful. I didn't start making money until I leaned into the parts of me that made me different. The parts of me that made me a nerd. The parts of me that, you know, made me weird to most of my childhood friends. That's when I started seeing actual money. So, that's what I would offer you. Yeah. So, as a side note, I bought this camera, and I think I'm going to sell it and just get an iPhone, to be honest. I don't like cameras. They're fucking weird. They're weird. Like they're too in your face, you know? Anyway, another thing, I said this before, but I'm going to say it again. No more one-on-ones after April. My calendar is too clogged. Takes up too much time. Not that I don't love giving people the time of day, but there's a better way to do this thing. So I'm starting up my private community. It's going to be a lot more affordable for people who want access to the hypnosis, to the mastermind, so on and so forth. Literally life-changing stuff. It's going to be a lot more affordable. It's going to be a monthly subscription for only the people who are serious about making real change in their life. And I can promise that, and I'm going to devote everything to that community. You guys have all my attention, all my support, exclusive content. You guys will be getting long form hypnosis videos and audio. So the Instagram hypnosis videos are 90 seconds. People in there are going to get them like 4 or 5 minutes at a time. Still quick, but like a lot more sound. You know, weekly group calls, courses, access to courses, stuff like that. So it's going to be insane. There's nothing like this available on the market. So that's what I'm building out. You guys heard it here first, by the way. I have not announced that anywhere. What else? Yeah. Apart from that, let me know what else you guys want me to talk about. I'm going to be doing it a little bit more loose form vlog like this, so you guys can get a sense of more of who I am. Because like sitting at the desk and being like, oh, in the next 2 minutes, I'm going to hypnotize you to be da-da-da-da. As much as I love doing that stuff, you know, it's important that I show my personality. And what the lifestyle is like for anybody who's considering becoming a hypnotherapist. But the lifestyle is great. I just bought this new bag from Lululemon. It's really nice. Still has the tags on. But yeah, so that's gonna be my carry-on. And then got the luggage. I definitely won't be needing this anymore. So, as you can see, when I'm in an Airbnb, I'm very, very lean with the stuff I carry, right? Very lean. Like I travel very lightly. It doesn't look like it because my stuff is spread out, but like this is all a luggage and a carry-on, right? And you know, I don't feel like going downstairs, but yeah, so I just cooped up in here for the last little bit, and then I'm about to hop on a plane. And I'll probably come back. I mean, I won't share my location, but you guys will know when I'm back. I'll probably come back and then bounce back again for the rest of the year. But that's what type of time I'm on. There's something else I wanted to talk to you guys about. You know what? I should answer all the questions people DM me. That's what I should do. That's what I should do. There's some. I'm planning out my YouTube content right now. I'm gonna do one of these every day, but I got some crazy content happening. This one was a bit last minute, but yeah, I got some stuff that's gonna shake things up. Someone asked me, can you hypnotize me out of getting sick? No, I cannot. I'm sorry. I'm very clear with what I can and can't do, what I do and don't do, and I do not help people with physical ailments. So that's one thing. Yeah. See, I love giving you guys the hypnosis content on Instagram, but like when I scroll through the comments, look how many comments I get on like a daily basis. There's so many people just talking down on themselves. And like it's sad, but it's also like, you know, as much as I'm in the wellness business and I'm here to help you be well, there is a sense of discipline. There's discipline that's needed here. And so sometimes I hear people talk down on themselves. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why do you think that's okay? It's actually quite pathetic, if I'm being very honest. Because sometimes we get in a rut. I get that. You know, you feel frustration, you feel anger. I feel that a lot, or I feel that often enough. And, you know, but one thing I never do is talk bad about myself or talk down on myself. Because everyone else has already taken that job or can take that job. And if I don't look out for me, no one else is going to look out for me. If you don't look out for you, nobody else is going to look out for you. People talk about themselves like a piece of trash. I'm like, what are you doing? Where did you learn this? And who cares wherever you learned it from? You need to stop. Like right now. Because it's really ugly. It's really ugly, it's disgusting, and it's not doing anything for you. And that may come off as harsh, but one thing I learned is you have to treat adults as adults. You have to treat people as people. And this isn't me being harmful or an asshole. It's me being gentle but firm. And people need to know the truth. Tough love really works. And tough love is the thing everybody hates to receive, as do I, but it works. It's the only thing that's ever worked for me. And for everybody I know, it's tough love. You know, healthy, tough love, not like abusive, tough love. But people just talk about themselves in a really demeaning way, and then they wonder why their life never improves. It's because your life is a direct reflection of how you talk about yourself, how you see yourself. I believed I was a guy before I ever started making any sort of money. You know, and this is nothing in comparison to the money I will be making in 6 months, in a year, right? But your words, guys, if there's any one thing that'll change your life right away, it's being disciplined with your words. Be disciplined with how you talk about yourself. You know, most people are just like on a very different type of time, and I don't want to be around those people. I'll be very honest. Like I stay far away from people. There's a lot of power I forget which one it is. One of the 48 laws of power, where it's like, avoid the miserable and the unlucky. Someone let me know which one that is. Avoid the miserable and the unlucky. It's true. It's true. Because they don't do anything about themselves. Even though they know they can, they don't fix it. Even though they know they should stop talking about themselves like that, they don't stop. And they want to spread it onto you. And it's like, no thank you. Like, when we are adults, there's no blaming anybody else anymore. And I want you to understand that. There's no, oh, they did this to me. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. And if I can help you understand that, as harsh as that is to hear, I've done my job. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. And what that will do is empower you to stop playing the victim. Everybody has everybody can play the victim. Everybody has, a harsh story to tell. Everybody does. But the winners just choose not to put stock in that. Winners just choose not to make that the end all be all of their lives. They choose to write a new story. They choose to write a new narrative. So when I see those comments, like, you can only play the sympathy card so much. And when you do that, you're more often than not, you are training people to continue playing the victim. And it's just pathetic. It's just dumb. It's dumb. But anyway, that's that. So I'm going to leave that where it is. Let's see if I had anything else to share. Private community, you guys got that. Lean into your ego. What I will say, it's a great exercise that'll help you out and help you build a relationship with your ego, is to start championing yourself, start celebrating yourself, start telling yourself, when you're in the shower or when you wake up or go to bed, start telling yourself all the reasons why you're thankful for yourself, all the things you like about yourself. And I don't want to hear, oh, I can't find anything I like about myself, that's dumb. Just make one up, right? If you're serious about getting better, just make one up. And you'll realize how quickly you'll find another reason and another reason and another reason. Because part of being an adult is reparenting yourself. And when you're reparenting yourself, you're supposed to give yourself the kind of love that you always needed. And people forget that part. Having a big ego, a lot of having a big ego is loving yourself. And loving yourself enough to let yourself run free in the places that you shine. Right? You've trained your ego. Right? You wield it, you bend energy. You're an energy bender. Right? And the duality of the world, the duality of our reality is such that you cannot be anything unless you have the ego and the self, or the ego and the higher self. You need both. You need both to execute on your vision. Right? Don't suppress your ego. Let it have its seat at the table, but just never let it make the final decisions. Hit the like button, subscribe, comment, everything. I see it all. Thank you guys. I'm out. Peace.